is it?
A changing of the guard in the Lone Star State.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
New state leaders take the oath of office, pledging to lead Texas into a new era.
As goes Texas, so goes America. And as goes America, so goes the world.
For the first time in 14 years, the state of Texas has a new governor.
Greg Abbott officially became Texas' 48th governor earlier today. With his wife and daughter at his side, Governor Abbott took the oath of office this morning on the south steps of the Capitol. In his inaugural address, he referenced the accident that left him unable to walk, calling it highly improbable that he would go on to become governor. He went on to highlight other Texas success stories, but did say there was much more the state could do.
More for the families who are stuck in traffic. More for our parched towns, thirsty for water.
Abbott also said more can be done when it comes to veterans who return home broken from battle. KXAN political reporter Phil Prazen watched the inauguration with two Vietnam vets who hope the governor will make good on his promise.
That song strikes a chord with Robert Simmons, who came early to get as close as he could to the stage. He found out his first inauguration would be more emotional than he expected.
God does bless America in so many ways.
After 24 years in the U.S. Air Force, he's here to watch a display of freedom he fought for and hear words of praise from the governor and lieutenant governor.
Their extraordinary service has secured our freedom.
I'm kind of sentimental in that respect.
Robert came here with Douglas Dixon, who served with him in Vietnam.
It's neat because we fought for the freedom that we saw here today. And we're not alone. I mean, the ones that paid the
ultimate price.
And yeah, we both lost some friends.
40 years after that war ended, they drove here from Lubbock and Granger to reflect on the past together.
We came back, but to remember those that did not.
And hope for the future. Phil Prazen, KXAN News.
And we thank those men for their service to our country. One important Inauguration Day tradition in Austin, the Texas barbecue. Thousands of people joining the feast on the Capitol lawn, catered by Eddie Dean's Barbecue from Terrell, just east of Dallas. It is the sixth straight time Eddie Dean's crew cooked up the inaugural barbecue. He and his staff prepared about 8,000 pounds of brisket to feed a lot of hungry Texans today. And crowds lining Congress Avenue for the traditional inaugural parade today. Governor Abbott and his family led the way, followed by several Texas-themed floats and performers, among them the University of Texas Longhorn Band. The new governor giving the hook'em sign as they passed his review stand. Governor Abbott, of course, a graduate of UT Austin. The last time Texas saw a Longhorn governor was Dolph Briscoe. He served in the 1970s. And tonight, the UT Tower will be lit burnt orange in honor of Greg Abbott.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick took his oath of office from his son Ryan, who is a state district judge in Houston. Then he paused for a lighter moment.
You know, throughout the campaign, I took a lot of selfies. I can't miss this moment here.
Dan Patrick took a few pictures of himself before starting his inauguration address. Several times in that speech, he recited the catchphrase, "It's a new day in Texas," and he underscored that point by pledging a new push for school choice statewide.
To break the cycle of poverty, we must be sure every student graduates. And that means where we have failing schools, that those parents deserve change and they deserve a parent's choice to send their child to the best school they believe for their child.
Patrick also vowed to keep Common Core education standards out of Texas public schools. Looking closer at the lieutenant governor's background, Dan Patrick was a radio man. He owned the station that brought Rush Limbaugh to Houston listeners. Patrick was elected to the state Senate for the 2007 session. Over the next few sessions, he eventually became the Senate Public Education Chair.
Not everyone watching today's inaugural agrees with the state's new leadership. We spoke with the executive director of the liberal group Progress Texas. He said the governor's speech was a fine one, but says Abbott inherits a lot of issues, like the number of Texans without health insurance.
Our issues may be different than where he stands on a lot of positions, but we remain optimistic that we can work together to find workable solutions for Texas.
A Texas Democratic Party spokesperson says he's calling on Abbott and Patrick to push for things they believe will help all Texans. The organization highlights raising the minimum wage and expanding Medicaid, among other goals. Abbott has a plan to raise minimum wages during the campaign. He said that plan to raise minimum wages is a job killer, and he has consistently opposed Medicaid expansion.
Greg Abbott brings a unique perspective to the governor's mansion. Unlike his predecessor, Rick Perry, he never was a legislator. Instead, his career was in law as a state Supreme Court justice, then Attorney General. Abbott is the first University of Texas at Austin alum to become governor since the 70s. In 1984, a tree fell on Abbott while he was running, paralyzing him. He is the first Texas governor to use a wheelchair, and that led to some needed renovations as he moved into the governor's mansion, built 134 years before laws required public buildings to be accessible to the disabled. But an arsonist's work just a few years back forced a complete restoration of the downtown Austin site. So it now needed only minor fixes for the Abbott family. The fire brought upgrades to bathrooms, doors, and an elevator for ADA compliance. And now workers are installing a ramp for Governor Abbott to get a view from the upstairs balcony.